Armando Baker here.
It's Luke Maye.
This is Tyler Hansbrough.
University of North Carolina.
Here's North Carolina.
I just want to shout out my boy JBear_YT.
JBear_YT.
It's Carolina family, baby.
Go Heels.
Go Heels.
What's up, boys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're doing a somewhat reaction, evaluation of UNC football's current transfer situation. As of right now, as I'm recording this video, 11 players from UNC football have entered the transfer portal. Some of them, which are going to be, fairly insignificant, besides like depth reasons, I guess. But some of these guys are key players that we thought were going to be a part of the future until they either went on to the NFL or graduated. So there are some unfortunate losses on here. Obviously, UNC will try and bounce back with what's going on with other players across the country. But before getting into that, offensive coordinator Phil Longo has announced that he is going to be the offensive coordinator at Wisconsin now after his newfound relationship with Luke Fickell, who is going to be the head coach there. So, I know a lot of angry Twitter Tar Heel fans will act like this is a good thing, but Phil Longo was a great coordinator in my opinion. He did have his red zone troubles, don't get me wrong, but outside of that, he was a good coordinator. So I'm hoping we won't miss this too much. So we'll see what happens. But yes, we're losing Phil Longo, and also along with him, offensive line coach Jack McNeil, who is only in his first year here at Carolina, is leaving with him as well. So that's unfortunate. So let's go back here to the transfers I was talking about, and we'll start with this first guy. I kind of want to get one other thing out of the way and talk about Drake Maye and his return, because this is huge for Carolina. Drake Maye announced that he is officially going to return to be a Tar Heel for more than likely his last year in the year 2023 before he moves on to the NFL, more than likely. That's huge. To be honest with you, that's bigger than, Phil Longo leaving, Jack McNeil leaving, all these transfers leaving. This team would not be anywhere near where it is currently without the likes of Drake Maye. And sure, is Phil Longo a reason that Drake Maye is having so much success? Sure. But, he's still a player that can make all the throws and, play the game no matter who his coordinator is, unless it's like some absolutely egregious coordinator. But anyways, so yeah, Drake Maye is coming back. That is big time news because he could have basically went anywhere he wanted in the country, really, out of high school and in the transfer portal, and got a lot of money to do it, honestly, too. But I don't think he's worried about that because, boy, man, let's give a shout out to Mark Maye. Let's clap it up for Mark Maye, his brothers Luke Maye, Bo Maye, because without his mom even, because without them, boy, let me tell you, Drake Maye is not a Tar Heel right now. I am telling you, man. So, which that kind of goes, without question, he wouldn't be a Tar Heel without his family. But anyways, let's get into these transfers that I was mentioning earlier. First off, speaking of Drake Maye, it's his backup, Jacoby Criswell. Now, this is one that you could say is unfortunate, but it was almost guaranteed because, when you're a quarterback, you don't want to waste all your eligibility being the backup, obviously. Completely understood. So this has been a given since Drake was announced the starter, basically, assuming Drake didn't do anything to lose the job. But, if everything that Mac and the staff is telling us, which, I'm not going to lie, Mac Brown throws some cap out the window sometimes. But if everything they told us was true and, Jacoby Criswell was in a legit QB battle with Drake Maye, then he's going to be a great player somewhere else, man. I've heard Arkansas is the likely favorite. He might have to, depending on what KJ Jefferson does, might have to sit another year before he's able to start. But eventually, whenever he gets his chance to play, man, he's going to be great, I'm telling you. So, yeah, Jacoby Criswell is the first guy on that list to leave. Next is Chris Collins. He's a graduate transfer. He played a good bit at the Jack role, but he was the backup going into the season at that Jack role. This was his 5th or 6th year at Carolina, so he is going to move on as a grad transfer and move on to play somewhere else. Not the biggest of losses. We have some guys really talented to step up there, like a Malachi Hamrick. So we did lose him though. Rara Dilworth. This is one that was quite unfortunate. I gotta be honest, I don't know if there's NIL reasons he's leaving, because he didn't play much in his Carolina career so far. But I thought next year was going to be the year that he could possibly step in as a starter. And because, we don't know yet what Cedric Gray's going to end up doing. He could come back to school, or he could go on to the NFL and possibly be a day 2 draft pick. So we don't know what's going on with that. The fact that Rara is transferring does make me think ever so slightly that Cedric's coming back. But I don't know that for sure. But yeah, Rara's a guy I really was intrigued by. I mean, he doesn't quite have the linebacker body yet, but he's got elite sideline to sideline type speed for the position. So I thought he had a bright career ahead of him at Carolina, but that bright career is possibly going to move on to somewhere else. He might just not be played. He might just not be the type of guy who can play linebacker at the Power 5 level. I don't know. Like he's the kind of guy without a position, really, if this trend continues. But we'll see. This is a big loss for Carolina, though, in my opinion. Next guy, Dontavious Nash. Like a second or third string safety, former 4-star recruit. He was a big-time guy who we thought was going to eventually get some good playing time. But it just never turned out that way for him. He got passed up by guys in the depth chart like Will Hardy. So next year's safety duo should be actually insane, though. I wanted to bring this up at some point before next year. But next year's safety duo, a healthy Jaquarius Conley along with Will Hardy, I like that safety duo. That's better than we've had lately, if we're being honest with ourselves. But anyway, so yeah, Dontavious Nash is thinning out that safety room a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. Jaleel Taylor, a guy who didn't play this year at D tackle because, he had some injury stuff going on. Wait, I believe it was injury stuff because I think it was Tamari Fox that is just ineligible for some performance-enhancing drug reasons. But yeah, Jaleel Taylor, we're losing him. He's gone. Next guy, Cam Kelly, starting safety for the past 2 or so years for the Tar Heels. He's had his up and downs. He has good hands and he can catch the ball. He's got instincts to make plays on the football. He's just not a great cover guy, but he can make intercepting big time plays like that. But he'll move on as a grad transfer as well, and we'll see where he ends up. Next is Tymere Brown, a former 3-star DB prospect who just never worked his way into the rotation, so he's moving on there. Fairly insignificant, but you'll notice as we keep getting into this, the DBs are racking up, and I'll get into something later with that. Kendall Carr, kind of the 4th or 5th tight end on this team. The tight end room is just so stacked that there really wasn't much playing time for him to be found, so this is understandable here for Kendall Carr to be moving on. Day Hollins, another one of those guys, really good special teamer, a guy who is close to breaking the rotation from playing at DB at corner, but never was able to do that outside of his first 2 or 3 years at Carolina, but he is moving on as well. Next is Tony Grimes, man, and this is, to this point, maybe the biggest one. Now, I know that Tony Grimes gets a lot of hate from Carolina fans because he hasn't lived up to what he can, but his potential is out of the through the roof, but he just hasn't played well, man. He has not played well. His freshman year was his best play, and it's kind of, it hasn't got better from there, and it's maybe even got worse. So that's why I bring up now. I'll bring up the fact that what is the future for Dre Bly as a Carolina cornerbacks coach? Because I don't know, man. He's a great recruiter. He's really good at getting highly touted guys in Chapel Hill, but the development is not going well. Storm Duck is a guy who was lowly recruited but came in and was good right away, but he hasn't necessarily got better. I think that's more so for injury issues. We'll get back into that in a minute. But Dre Bly just hasn't developed guys, man. So I don't know what his future is like has at least a coach on Carolina's staff. Maybe he can stick around as a recruiting assistant or something like that, but I don't know, man. Something's got to change with the DBs. Same thing with Tim Cross in the D-line, if we're being honest. But, yeah, Tony Grimes, that's a big loss there. And next, Dante Balfour, another DB. And I was high on Dante Balfour, man. He makes plays on the football. I mean, he's basically the Cam Kelly of corners because he has good hands. He can intercept the football. The coverage just wasn't there yet, and the development just has to be better. But Dante was a young guy. He could have stuck around, but I guess Marcus Allen passing him up on the depth chart along with Legend Cavazos led to him transferring here. So right now, our corner depth, I'll get into this the next guy as well, but the corner depth right now is horrendous. That's going to have to change. But anyways, the next guy and final guy is Storm Duck. So, I mean, you look at the last 4 guys on this list that I mentioned. Day-Day Hollins, Tony Grimes, Dante Balfour, Storm Duck. All 4 are corners. Tymer Brown as well as a corner. And, goodness, man. This cornerback room was decimated by the transfer portal. We have Legend Cavazos, and we have Marcus Allen as the 2 starters, it looks like right now for next year, which I honestly think could be solid with the right coaching, which is where you get back into that conversation about Dre Bly. But I think Legend and Marcus Allen could be really good with the right coaching, but the depth right now is egregiously terrible. Storm Duck is a guy I was really high on. I like Storm Duck. I wish he would have hung around, but I mean, not all of these guys are leaving for playing time reasons. It's obviously not even debatable. I think there's some development stuff going on. And I think the players clearly know it based on what we're seeing here. So I don't know what's going to happen with that situation. But we do have, let's see, the 2 upcoming true freshmen that will be on the team next year at corner. Caleb Cost, who I think could be really good, but not right away probably. And what's the other one? The one that plays quarterback right now for a Georgia high school. I can't remember his name right now for some reason, but those are going to be like the 2 backups. So if we don't bring in some transfer corners, which we almost definitely are, we're probably going to bring in like legit maybe double-digit transfers this year because of some decommits in the 2023 class along with all these transfers. We're going to bring in some guys, which reminds me, I am going to release a video about my top 10 transfers that UNC should bring in. So make sure you go check that out when it's available. So turn on post notifications so you guys won't miss that video when it becomes available. But anyways, I thank you guys for all your support. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do that YouTube stuff. Be looking out for these videos in the future. Let me know what you think about these transfers in the comment section down below because there's more to come, more than likely, and I'll probably let you guys know when that becomes the case. But at least the offense is, staying fairly intact. The offensive line is going to have some guys leaving probably, which might be a good thing, and we just need to get talent in that O-line room, man. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do all that YouTube stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one.